Cut it out, Bo. Go downstairs. Go. I'll be down in a minute.
You know how it is, like starting up. It's hard as shit.
Whether they're good, bad, or ugly, getting the message out there that people aren't just like these superstars or shitbags. Like, there's a point behind everybody, what they're doing. I'm a fucking moron. Mike.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode. With you as always, me, Ben. Today, I have the pleasure of a gentleman we haven't been able to talk too much, but he's done more for me than most in the first coming days. I can't get over it enough. Alexander Grunwell. Mr. Grunwell, thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. This is first episode on any kind of podcast, so I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, first. I like it. Alexander not only is a veteran, he also is like a startup. He's part of this young go-getters that are trying to make it on their own. He's doing custom artwork. We'll get into all that kind of. He does custom artwork and engraving and all this kind of stuff for apparel. But he also served, and I want to hear about everything he's done and what he's went through because it's exciting to me. It's a cool journey that entrepreneurship is near and dear to my heart because my dad did that for a long, long time, and it can be challenging, but it is an amazing endeavor. So, Alex, can I call you Alex? Is that cool?
Yeah, you can call me whatever you want. Just, if you raise your voice, I know how much trouble I'm going to be in. So I really depend on the volume that people use.
The days of raising my voice are behind me. Do not worry. Alex, tell me a little about where you're from, where you grew up, how you were raised, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. So I was born in Michigan and we moved to Tennessee when I was about 2 years old. More specifically, we moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is like this huge, everyone grows up and they get told that their area is a melting pot because, as population density works and everything, everyone just meshes together even more. But I like to think of it as a good little melting pot. Had little bits of pieces of everyone from everywhere. And so I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, right in the heart of the Smokies, 45 minutes away from Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, if anyone else is familiar with it. Grew up loving the mountains. It was awesome. I got to go there whenever I wanted. But I couldn't go there whenever I wanted. We actually grew up pretty poor. We were pretty impoverished. And, I was growing up in this trailer that probably should have been foreclosed the moment that we moved in. And we lived in that thing for about 18 years.
Dang. That, I grew up in a trailer as well, not long. But I have family members that were in it and stuff. Those can be tough, especially if you're in it for a long time because they're not meant to last necessarily.
It's a mobile home.
That's hard. You try to make it the best of, but I'm sure that was kind of a challenge.
Oh, it was interesting. My mom was like a really heavy smoker. So I would go into school with because I've been stopped by teachers before in like elementary school saying, "Why do you smell like smoke? Why do you smell like that?" You're like, that's how I was born. What do you say when you're a kid like that?
Yeah. You don't know.
No,
it's different. Yeah.
I don't know anything about why my walls were turning yellow. I didn't, it was just how they look.
Man, what, you grew up with that. Was that in your mind back then though? Or was it kind of just like, this is how it is?
No, the thing that was in my mind as a kid, I had two older brothers. Both of them, they tried really hard, but I don't know, my family dynamic was a little bit harder on them. When they were kids and my age, my brothers, they're 5 and 7 years older than me, so I'm the baby.
Oh, okay.
They had a lot more of my dad in the picture, when, they were my age, and he was a lot tougher on them. By the time that I started coming of age, my dad he was more out of the picture. He worked abroad a lot. He was doing telecommunication work for like hurricanes and stuff. So he'd always put up the telephone poles and fix them whenever hurricanes got bad. So the thing that was going through my head all the time was, I just have to do things a little differently than them because I always saw them getting yelled at, getting smacked, and whatever.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do a little bit better.
What it's going through your as you say that, your dad was gone a lot. Did you lean on your brothers a lot for guidance at that point?
I couldn't. I wanted to. I really did.
Yeah.
They little bit further into it. So with that big of an age gap, I mean, we didn't really go to the same school. We went to the same school system. But we were never ever in like the same building because they were just, so far ahead. And by the time that I grew into sentience, I was a little person that had a personality and everything, and I knew things. Um, that was around the time that they were probably 14, 15. They started to kind of gravitate towards being out of the house more. I think it's actually like 16, 17, for each of them, but they both left high school, early due to some altercations and some personal things that were going on with them. And they both ended up moving to Florida with my dad
Oh,
to
okay.
work with him in that telecommunications field.
Dang.
Yeah, so I just kind of leaned more on my mom, but ah, she didn't really lean back enough, I don't think.
Yeah. That's hard because I'm sure she was
Oh yeah, I
going
know
through
she was
her
going
own
through it.
yeah. Jeez. You're going through this middle school, high school. Were you into like sports or anything that you can lean into or any clubs or anything like that or
No, so I tried to get into sports. Unfortunately, we weren't able to afford the entrance fee for it.
People don't talk
That
about
was an
that enough.
interesting.
People don't talk about that enough. There's money involved in these sports, and it's
Yeah,
hard if you're brother. Same. I was able to play sports, but basketball shoes. Thankful
it's a
enough,
lot.
it's so much. It's so much money. Um, if you want to get good club fees, practices, additional gear, stuff like that, gas to get to these events and stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
it racks up, and that's just your school sport. These other sports, you got to pay fees to get into. You got to
Oh
pay for
yeah.
tournaments. It's a lot.
I could only imagine today. I mean, my kids haven't gotten to this age yet, but I could only imagine like if their school didn't offer a specific thing, like if my daughter wanted to do ballet, so I have to like look for a ballet school. I could only imagine the cost that's behind that compared to going to a school side of
I'll tell you, it's expensive. I got a
it.
little girl. She loves to do. She did it for a while. She did dance. For about 2 years. We've moved since then, so it's harder. But she did dance, and it can get expensive. It can get
Yeah.
really, really, really expensive. Yeah. What So you're going through high school and stuff. What's your thought process through that? You're like, you got a single parent, I assume at that point. Basically, not maybe your dad was around, maybe he wasn't, but your mom is majority raising you. You're going through this. You're kind of a lone wolf. What's the process coming out of there? What do you want to do?
Yeah. By the time I got to high school, I was pretty much already kind of running myself for the most part. I was a pretty good kid. I mean, I tried really hard in school and I didn't really get into a lot of trouble. Maybe that one time, but so once I got into high school, I really tried to figure out something that I wanted to do, and it's a little nerdy. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna preface that,
We
but I got
listen and
into
we don't judge.
we listen and we don't judge. I got into JROTC in high school,
Okay. Okay.
and it was an Air Force JROTC. And looking back, I was definitely a tool, but God, I had so much fun because I was really good at it,
Yeah.
and I got a lot out of it.
It you know, I look at it and it's cheesy. I'm
It
sure you
is.
do now. But there is something to that gives kids confidence a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah. I didn't really have a lot of confidence as a kid. I kind of grew up, having too much confidence would get you a backhand, and Um, so,
Yes.
you know, I definitely needed that, and I didn't really know how to like take ownership of anything. And I got both of those things out of this, and you know, I mean, like you said, it's really cheesy, but I got to be like a major part of the organization, and I got to, yeah, set up a bunch of competitions for the drill and ceremonies, and
Oh
and
yeah.
run that a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good not everybody can be a football star. Not everybody can be a basketball star. Not everybody can be a chess star. You know, something about that JROTC, especially I've noticed children that don't have a lot of family direction in their life.
Yeah, that's
It
fair.
it's a great driving force to figure out, you know, hey, there's meaning to this world. You got to figure
Yeah.
out something, you know. So
I definitely agree with that, and I can see, you know, coming from my family dynamic, where I had no stability, no direction, no structure. Structure was a really big thing. You know, I came from a very unstructured household. And when you go into a program like that, you know, I mean, it is kid style military in a way, you know, but it provides the building blocks for learning structure.
yeah, and I like that. I like that you found something that caught your eye that was able to give you a little bit of that. Did that lead you to your decision to join the military?
Heavily. You know, and I was a bigger kid in high school, and I'm a bigger person now, you know, but veteran status, so I'm good.
Hell
Um but yeah, no, I was, like I said in the beginning, I was in an Air Force organization in high school, and I tried to go to the Air Force once I was 17, you know, see if I could get my mom to sign that little paper for me to go. Unfortunately, she said no, so I had to wait a little bit longer. I walked my happy self in though when I was 18 to talk to the Air Force recruiters, and they laughed at me.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I was a big kid, you know, and Air Force recruiters, they don't have to work for it because they just walk in and, you know, they're already over their retention. So,
Yeah.
but then I walked over into the Army guys, and they were like, "Hey, you're not there, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to show up every single day that you do." And this man ran with me 3 days a week out of his own personal time at like 6 o'clock
Man,
every day instead of going home to his family.
that's awesome. Was this out of Knoxville?
Yeah, this was out of Knoxville, and I was his last recruit before he retired. He was a good
That's
dude. I tried
awesome.
my
He put
heart
that
out
work
to
in
find
you.
him.
Yeah. Well, it's hard once they get out because they're like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
tired of this.
ghost in the
Don't talk
wind,
to me,
you know?
dude. I can relate to that. I was 270 when I joined the army, but I
Yeah,
get delayed entry, and they basically told me, you know, I was I'm 6'2" and I was 270, and that was when I cut weight for them, and they go, all right, when you come back and ship, you can't weigh more than this. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was cutting weight like crazy. They gave me
yeah,
diet plans. They gave me. I like those recruiters that put investments into their recruits, though.
yeah.
It
No,
makes
it's
me
it's a
proud.
huge switch up.
Yeah. Uh, you're doing all that. Would you join as?
I was a 25 papa. So that is a microwave communication specialist. I
Oh,
was really good at heating hot pockets and blowing up hot
hell yeah.
dogs. It was awesome. No, you know, I was a commo dude.
Hmm.
I started out using microwave radios, which is just these massive 50 pound boxes, and you had to have two of them to make it work.
Oh my gosh.
You know what the heat close
Yeah.
shelters are? Yeah, that was my thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And did you get? Well, that's fast forward, and I guess it's an interesting MOS because for those
Yep.
that don't know, a lot of people think commo guys in the army are just either a radio guy or a computer guy, and there's so much more to it than that. There's a lot of nuances to it. You let's talk about basic and AIT. You ship off for that. How was your experience through basic and AIT?
Basic was it was really cool. Um, you know, I went in with my head on straight thinking, you know, okay, high school prepared me for this. My JROTC prepared me for this. It didn't. it didn't. I was a fool. I was fooled and I was blindfolded. I didn't like getting yelled at, but I was an average kid in boot camp. Nothing too special. I wasn't no PT stud or anything, but I did really good on like, written scores and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, basic was fun. I got to meet a lot of really good people. I also got to kind of see, um, I went to Jackson, um,
Okay.
in the
What year?
Carolinas, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
October 2016.
Right around this, a little after me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It what it do you find that you talked about yelling, right? And it bugs you a little bit. You don't like to get yelled at. But, we talk about our upbringing and stuff. I got yelled at a lot as a kid, so it never bothered me to get yelled at by another adult. Did you get yelled at as a kid? Or was
Oh
it more
yeah,
oh,
in
you
a
did?
heartbeat. Oh yeah, I got yelled at so much.
But it bugged you
Um,
still. It bugged
it
you.
bugged me. So, one of the main reasons why I got out, I'm a little rebellious. I don't
Uh-huh.
conform too well.
Point.
So when I start getting yelled at, it makes me think back to when I was a kid. And
Oh.
when I remember that I was a kid getting yelled at, I also remember that I'm an adult now and no grown person should be yelling at me.
Interesting. That's a good actual. I never thought of it that way. That's a very good outlook of it because a lot of people probably don't think that. A lot of
Hmm.
people, a lot of people I talk to, they go, oh, they can't get yelled at. They must have not got yelled at as a kid. I've had
Oh
those.
yeah.
That's a great aspect to look at it, though. That's gonna carry with me. That's good.
Now, I will say that there were some times when you needed to get yelled at. I mean, like yelling was it's a huge motivating factor in the military. You got to go quick. I mean, you need to be moving fast. And one of the most memorable times, someone flagged me on one of the ranges.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a yelling offense. Um, I tried to start yelling, but I got yelled at when I tried to start yelling.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a big one.
I
What
ended up on my face.
you did like you said, basic smooth sailing for the most part. You didn't like the yelling, but whatever. Like you did fine, and you did good on the test. How about AIT? Because that's always a different
Yeah.
mentality. You said you went around my time, so that means that you didn't have drill sergeants yet. I don't think you had platoon
Correct.
sergeants, right?
Yeah, it was probably like 2 cycles before they started doing drills at AIT again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. AIT was a lot of fun. I had a longer AIT. I was there, so my actual schooling was 21 weeks, but I
Oh
ended up staying
Lord,
there for about 25.
why?
Well, I was a RASP signee,
Okay.
so I signed up for RASP, so I had to wait for an airborne date.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I did really good in AIT. I wasn't student master or anything like that, but I had probably the second best scores out of the class.
Oh, that's good.
I enjoyed working with the radios. Microwave communications was a mixture of doing computer work and radio work, kind of merging into one. And then it further splits into whether you're TACCOM or STRATCOM,
Yeah.
at least when 25 Papa was still a thing. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
I
yeah,
don't think they use the microwaves anymore, right?
no, they don't. We got turned into Sierras, so
Oh, I
SATCOM.
know the Sierras. Yeah, I know them well. I was in a signal unit, so I know a couple. I was like,
There you
I never
go.
heard of a Papa. I know Sierras though. Yeah. Um, you're doing all that and stuff. You said you did well. Let's talk about RASP because people don't know that. For those that don't know, I guess RASP, it's Ranger Assessment Selection Program. It means he was going to go try to be in the Ranger battalion.
I was
How'd
gonna
that go?
try.
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of people.
The attrition rate is ungodly high
Yeah.
in that field. I made it about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I had an injury and they gave me a choice to either recycle or just drop. And I was like, man, I'm not doing this again. I
It's
want,
rough. I hear it's very rough.
it
Did you
sucked.
did you go to airborne school before at least?
Yeah.
Sick. You did fine with that.
Oh yeah, airborne school was cool. I hate jumping out of planes though, man. But airborne school was
Too.
really cool.
I don't. It's not a fun thing. People
No,
think it's fun, and it's not fun.
no, it's not. And like, when you're at your unit and you're like, hey, we have a jump this week. Everyone's just like, ah, because the whole thing to it, I mean, you show up at like 4 to 6 in the morning and you're there until like 7 at night. You might jump once, you might jump twice if you're really lucky. It's just an entire day of suck.
Yes. I thankfully I guess thankfully I don't know. I never know how to take it anymore. But I went to airborne school when I was an NCO, and so
Yeah.
I went to airborne school. I jumped twice, and then COVID hit, and then I got drill orders. So
Oh, interesting.
since then I haven't jumped. Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciated it, but it is a lot. It is a lot, and
Yeah.
I cannot get over being scared in that plane.
No,
Like
it sucks,
I
man.
don't know. I don't know what the deal is. It's just scary.
I
It's
mean, you're just physically like the worst part for me was working up the nerve to just walk off the ramp. Once I'm in the air, like, muscle memory takes over. I'm good. It's like
yeah,
one of the fastest minutes I've ever had. I don't had a lot of fast minutes, but like
yeah.
it's one of the quickest ones.
It's only scary from when they say hook up to walk out the door. Yep.
you
Yeah.
know,
You're checking everybody, smacking asses, and then they
yeah.
go, go, and then you jump out, and then it's cool. And then you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they don't
cool.
even get you dinner or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, they just
I
grab
hit
you
a tree like so many times, and like at this time in my career in the military, I was not a heavy individual. I was weighing like anywhere from 185 to like 190 at most, and even at that weight, you still hit the ground like a sack of shit.
Oh yeah. I was 220 or
Yeah, it
2.
hurts.
It hurts bad.
It
We're
hurts.
we'll jump back to that real quick. You got done with airborne school, go to RASP, get injured. You're like, fuck this shit, I'm out. You go to your duty station. Where'd you go?
I went to
Oh,
Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is like half of the base is in Kentucky, half of the base is in Tennessee. So since, they just kind of figured, okay, it's Kentucky because the post office is on the Kentucky side.
how was that? Where'd you go? 101st?
No, I was at fifth group. I was at Fifth
Oh,
Special
you went
Forces group.
straight to group. I was wondering
Yeah.
how you got the jump. So I was like, dang. I went to 10th group.
Oh yeah, I was a group baby, man. I loved it.
Oh, nice, dude. Well, tell
People
me.
hate on it, but man, I
No,
had
no,
I
no,
had
no,
a good
no.
time.
It's really good. So you go to 5th group, which they cover what?
Middle
Asia?
East.
No, Middle East. I thought 3rd group did.
So we usually get Syria, Iraq, and Jordan, Lebanon.
Okay.
Those are our typical ones.
Did you go to the
Um,
GSAB?
no.
Where'd you go? SIG or the one of the SIG?
Uh,
Or where'd you go? Sorry, you're the group baby.
yeah,
Sorry.
no. So
Yeah.
I was in the Special Troops Battalion because of my MOS. There weren't a lot of papas around at this time. So I got to go to the Special Troops Battalion, which is fourth Battalion, 5th SFG. And I was working in the SIGDET, the Signal Detachment.
Yep.
I worked hand in hand with the S6, the computer nerds of the world in the Army. Really good group of people. Um, I always was working with Green Berets. Um, Green Berets and other uh, enablers is what we kind of called ourselves.
Yep.
But primarily, like the whole purpose of my position at the Special Troops Battalion was to support the Green Berets in their deployments, in their training missions, and everything. So I got to go and do a lot of really cool things with them.
Yeah, that's a people. Green Berets are awesome, but enablers, it's a really fun assignment for you.
It is.
You get to do things that you never thought you'd do before. You work with people that you are like, this is tiers above what is normal. It's awesome. Hey guys, we're going to get right back to the episode, but first, I want to talk about who brought you this episode. Our sponsors, Jump Medic. Okay, being prepared should mean digging through a giant messy drawer of half-used band-aids, all that stuff your kids get on. It's nasty, right? The stupid box that never has anything. Jump Medic made this sleek, fully stocked first aid kit designed for real life, right? You can pack it up, you can throw it in your car. It's solid. It's this giant, big old tough box. Mine's in the mail right now. Actually, but I can't wait. This thing, whether you're hiking, traveling, or just like driving your kids to softball practice, right? You don't want to be the one digging around trying to find everything. You want to be the one that can just reach back, grab it, and get ready to go. So I really I wish I had this about 3 injuries ago. Right now, listeners can get 10% off with the code BEN10. That's BEN10 at checkout. Head on over to jumpmedic.com and be the hero with the kit, not the guy Googling how to stop bleeding fast. All right, back to the show. It's a great time. How long were you there for?
I was there for about 7 years before I started getting out.
Oh my gosh, you did the
Yeah,
whole 7 there.
7 years all there.
Nice. That's good. That's good. People frown on it, regular
Yeah.
army. It's frowned upon because you got to broaden your career and stuff. But I'm like, if you like your job, just stay with the job. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. What
There's a place for broadening assignments. I get that, but
yeah, I would whatever. Did what'd you do in that time? Did you get to go anywhere fun or did you do any wild stuff?
yeah. Yeah, so me and one of my really good buddies that we showed up at like the exact same time almost. He was like a month ahead of me. He was a Charlie, which is a strict radio dude.
Mm-hmm.
That is his whole, purpose in life is radios.
He's working on hard radios you're talking about, right? Like man packs, that type of stuff, right?
Yeah,
He's doing
that's
hard.
like his whole AIT was
Yeah.
just radio and antenna theory, hand programming and computer programming the radios for mass deployment, things like that. Being like a comic book commo guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was a good dude. So me and him actually kind of got selected to be a part of this pilot program where we embed directly into the Green Berets teams.
Okay.
So I didn't know this um as young Army Alex. But there's different styles of Green Berets. You have your door kickers, which are like the most common ones, the ODAs.
Yeah.
But then you have the older dudes that used to be door kickers who have kind of taken a back seat. They're the more senior guys. I got to directly embed with those dudes. And typically deployments for them kind of look like 4-man team. That's it.
Okay.
So,
Jeez.
I got completely taken out of my office to kind of go in them. I stored all my locker stuff with them. I showed up to work with this sergeant first class, 2 chiefs, and a captain, and like that was my team.
Dang.
And I'm
Small
just an
little team to
E4.
work with. Yeah. Was it like a criff or was it something different?
Similar, a little bit different.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool
similar, a
though.
little different. Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little specialist, like, and I had to kind of get really
Doing
good at,
combo form and stuff.
yeah, I had to be good at all forms of commo, not just microwaves and radios. When you're a commo dude and you show up at your unit, it's really just you turn into a 25 uniform, really. You turn into your universal,
Yeah. It's
your MacGyver knife.
well, yeah, we have every unit I've been in. I go in there. Well, I was in a signal battalion even, and it's 25 uniform Bravo Sierra, and then I think hotels or something,
Yeah.
and a couple other ones, Quebecs, the random Quebecs, and just some other ones that were randomly there. But all of them Like their mission is what the mission is of the unit. You got to figure it
Mhm.
out, and it's
Yeah.
oh, you're a hard like you work on Singar's radio. Too bad. Like figure out this network. Like you
Yeah,
just
that's pretty much it.
yeah. So
It's
you guys
good
were
though.
doing that. It's good. What makes you well rounded in that
Yeah.
atmosphere for sure.
Yeah.
You're with this tiny little fun group. What do you got going on there? Without
Yeah.
upset, I guess.
Um,
But
so they pretty much like, they're back to back with everything that they're doing. Like their entire year is a build up to one deployment, and it can last anywhere from 4 to 6 months. And then they come back and their recovery time is usually like double the deployment length.
yep.
But during that recovery time, it's a build up to the next one. It's back to back to back. They really don't get any rest with it.
Yeah.
So I think our first one that we got to do a lot of really cool stuff. They took me to Alaska. They took me to Washington D.C. They took me to um, uh, Arizona and New Mexico. I will talk specifically about one encounter in New Mexico. So the whole deal was to kind of like learn how to get out of a bad situation, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you spend all this time and you're learning like, how to pick locks, how to like get out of handcuffs, how to get out of flex cuffs. And there's a culminating event where you get bagged over your head and you get stripped out of your clothes and you get put in a white jumpsuit
What the hell?
and you get brought into this warehouse and you have to escape and evade. And they even draft the local police force into this as like an entire thing. So like you're walking around a city and in this white jumpsuit and you have goals that you have to do.
Yeah.
And like your first one is obviously get out of whatever type of restraints that you're in. Next is get out of the building. And then you have to procure clothing and get to a checkpoint.
Oh my gosh.
So I stole from a bum. I stole from a homeless man. I felt so bad.
That's crazy. Just for training.
I'm sitting here, right, and I couldn't even get a shirt. I only got hobo shorts,
Ah.
right? And they were like 3 sizes too big. So I'm sitting here and I've got like this bunched up knot of shorts so that they don't fall around me. And I'm running around this city shirtless in boots, trying to get to my checkpoint. I was like the third or second person to get there to the checkpoint, but it was a far trek and you had to do so much to get there.
Yeah. Jesus.
It was
That's
awesome.
fun though. That had to be,
It was
you have such a vivid memory of it now. That had to be so wild to go through.
it was I've never experienced anything like that. I hope I don't have to do it again. But yeah, it was a great little piece for the memory book.
Man, I love that. So you had a great time there. What over these 7 years, um, were there any bad moments going on? Did you have any like bad stuff happen, or was it mostly pretty smooth sailing?
For the most part, it was smooth sailing. Um, I was really into trying to accomplish whatever the mission was and try to, I like to think of myself as being aggressively neurodivergent. And I try to turn that into a superpower. So if there's a task that needs to be done, I try to think of it like the lazy man would as best I can. What's the fastest way to get this thing done that looks the best? I kind of did my whole career like that. It worked out pretty good. I think the worst times were the deployments. I hated the deployments so much.
Really?
Yeah, the
Usually
first one was cool. I got to go to Saudi Arabia first.
okay, that's interesting.
You don't get to go there a lot. and I was working with, I was working with SEALs. I was working with MARSOC. I got to work with a lot of really cool people.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't know that Saudi Arabia had baboons.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
What
and
the hell?
it's crazy. So we were running a range, uh, for the locals in Saudi, and we were in like this bowl area with mountains all around us, and we were shooting, and I look up and I see like these little heads like popping up, and I didn't know what it was, so I zoomed in on my scope, and it was baboons, and they started telling us about them, and they're like coyotes there. They just roam.
What?
They just roam and savage the trash cans, and they're evil. They're vicious creatures.
Oh yeah, I know they're mean. I know they're mean little shits. They're crazy. That's nuts. Just see in
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia too. You're like, you're not supposed to be here.
No, when I thought of Saudi Arabia before I went, I thought of like palaces and sand.
Yeah,
Um, but there were like mountains and a whole bunch of greenery. There were palm trees and baboons.
that's that's crazy. How many rotations, deployments, and stuff did you go on?
Yeah, so I went on 2 deployments total.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so the second one was to Iraq, and I was that one was the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iraq was awful. It was sand. It was sand.
Yeah, that's all it is there.
It was sand and hookahs. That's how we thrive.
Yeah. It's weird because a lot of people think Afghanistan and Iraq are the same place, and I'm like, no, no, no. Afghanistan is Colorado. Iraq is what you think the Middle East is.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one like prepares you for like the sound of like the sirens going off. We had incoming like every other
Incoming,
night.
incoming.
It is
Take
awful.
cover.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Be 2 o'clock in the morning and you're fast asleep, and then you just have to kit up and get to a bunker.
No, you stay in the bed, dude. You stay in the bed. You let it. If it's my
Just
time,
let it
it's my
happen.
time. I just let it roll. After 2 months, I was like, I'm staying in bed. This is
Oh,
ridiculous. But I wasn't on a far out fob either. I was on a tiny one, so I can imagine it would be a little more um, intense being out there a little bit. I imagine you guys were kind of further out, away from everybody.
so we were at so the second deployment, I didn't go out in the small man team. I went out as a battalion.
Okay.
So we were kind of in a well-established one, which I almost think that I would rather be at a smaller one just because a little bit more off the radar for those individuals that are, bombing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we were at a pretty good established base. Every other night it would be like us sitting on a wall with a little electric gun trying to shoot the drones down. Um,
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, yeah,
take that.
yeah.
You know, yeah,
Jeez.
a lot
What
of bonding.
what led you to your decision to get out?
Yeah. So the thing that led me to wanting to get out was kind of a mixture of deployments, but more like on the effect that it had on the family. We had two little kids, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I could see that it was like starting to turn into a pattern. Me being away for 6+ months and then never being home when I am home because of the training regime. So
Yeah, it's talked about, I guess, but a lot of guys are okay with it, but a lot of guys I think now are not okay with it being away from their families that much because you're like, I see what's happening. To somebody told me the other day, you want to see where your life is in 10 years, look at your boss. And
yeah,
all you see is divorces, angry marriages, stuff like that. And you're like, I don't want that.
that's
I
not
didn't sign up for
necessarily
that.
fun.
No. So I totally get that. And I'm glad you made that decision. What was it a pretty quick decision where you thought out with it, or was it last minute kind of, because some guys wait, pretty quick to the end.
Yeah, so I actually had two iterations. Um, yeah, so I had let myself get into about 10 months of my ETS date, and I tried to start ETSing. And I went through all the classes, but at the last minute, I was like, man, I'm not ready. I don't have a house or a job picked out. I'm just going to extend. So I extended for a year, went on that second deployment and came back and I was like, no. So at the abs, I had a countdown going while I was in Iraq of like when I could start ETSing, and I started ETSing while I was out there. Um, I couldn't do anything until I got back, but I started. Um, and so I started. I think the limit is like 18 months out you can start or
Yeah.
something like that. As soon as I hit the ground, I was like, okay, let me start making these appointments. So I had a really good head start the second time around.
Yeah. And that's what you want too with the ETS. You really want, which myself, I'm kind of behind, but I still got a bit. You want that big gap to
Yeah.
plan. You gotta plan.
Yeah, there's so much. CIF took up like 3 months of time.
Better now. I think when you went through, when did you get out?
2022.
Yeah. I think in the past year they stopped playing the games.
Whoa,
Take everything now.
must be nice.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, I don't remember PC or ETSing, but I remember PCSing.
Yeah.
It is a nightmare. It takes up so much of your time. You go, it's just gear that I used. Stop being like this.
Nah, that sand spot needs to go, buddy. What do you mean? It's like 10 years old. You didn't let me swap it out last time. No, it's gotta go.
What what'd you do getting out? Did you have a plan? What'd you follow?
Yeah. Yeah, so I worked really hard on networking. So when you get out, I mean, I guess I don't really know how it is now, but while I was exiting, you kind of get to pick like a path that you want to take as you get out. You can do like entrepreneurial, where they teach you how to be an entrepreneur and run a business and all these things, or you can go the education path and they help you pick a school and a degree program, or you can go the career path, which is what I picked, where they help you with networking and building your resume and kind of figuring yourself out with what you want to do. And so I did that and I got to meet a lot of really cool people and I didn't work for a single one of them. I ended up getting lucky on LinkedIn and I found this dude that had a position that was 3.5 hours away. It's like, okay, that's not a crazy distance. That's very doable. Um, let's get the house listed. He went out on a limb for me. And since I had started so early, I still had like 3 to 4 months left before I actually ETS'd. And
Yeah.
I had like that much terminal leave.
Oh wow.
So I put in for my terminal leave packet and I went to go work for this dude that was 3.5 hours away. After we had like sold the house and stuff.
Yeah.
And I worked there and I had to come back so that I could finish my out processing with post.
Yeah.
And dude was totally cool with it. He was like, I get it. He was a veteran too.
Oh, nice. Nice. That always helps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he helped streamline it a lot. What I went into after the army was IT contracting. I figured that was the most natural progression for me. I was a pretty well-rounded IT dude. I did a lot of like system administration and normal nerd stuff. Um, so that's kind of what I picked up, and I was unprepared for two paychecks because terminal leave you get to draw from both basically.
Yeah, yeah. That'll help. Did you jump into that? Is there any regrets coming out of there, or were you completely content with getting out?
No, I was pretty happy with it. I mean, I really missed my friends. We had a really nice, tight group of friends. And we moved to a place where we had no family, no one. Like we were starting over from scratch. And I think it was a lot harder on the wife. She's a lot more introverted than I am. You kind of get forced to be an extrovert.
It's a good explanation of it. You have to grow out as the wife withdrawals a little bit more.
Yeah,
Secondly.
recluses like to hide, man. And
Yeah.
no, I definitely don't regret anything. It was probably one of the most empowering things that I've done because you have to make it work.
Yeah.
So you find ways. It's almost like basic and AIT all over again. You have to like put everything into it and starting over. Um, like I said, it was the most natural path to take for me, with a family because I couldn't just go education path and work on getting a degree. My wife, I had a stay at home, mother, so it was hard, but very rewarding. We got to grow. We had a lot of personal growth from starting over and distancing ourselves from some not so great family members and, starting over on just building us back.
Yeah. And that's good. That's healthy too for people.
Hmm.
Um, you jump into all that. I guess I can talk about it. You know, you're doing that. You've talked about you're still kind of doing the contracting stuff now, but let's talk about Grundaddy. Okay,
Yeah.
how do you get into this whole thing?
Yeah. I I have like a really big ADHD brain. It's really hard to focus on any given thing. Um, and I just went out on a limb one day and I saw this laser engraver on Amazon. It was like a Prime Day sale, right? So I
That looks
bought
pretty
this
damn
thing.
cool.
I was like, man, I could make so many Christmas gifts with this. Um, I could save money. So I get this $200 laser engraver and I'm consumed. I just go down a rabbit hole and I learn how to use it really well. Um, yeah, and it kind of grew from being like I said, ADHD brain, I couldn't like hold any hobby down.
Yeah.
This hobby stuck around for 6+ months.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, maybe I'm getting good at this. Maybe I should try to start selling some things, Christmas ornaments and whatnot. And it took off really well in the beginning. And I was like, I'm gonna go legit. There's a monetary point where you kind of have to make a decision,
Yeah.
where it delineates from being hobbyist to being professional gain. For me at that point, it was like $500 is the limit where you have to start doing that.
Yeah.
And I hit like $700 within the first year of doing it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going legit.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's
Uh,
awesome. The first year, you're already crushing that, you know?
yeah, it was really cool. If only it was the same, keeping going. It's a lot of work, and with growth, you have to change. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, you know what people say. I just heard a guy talk about this because he had a T-shirt company, and there's a billion T-shirt companies, and there's not as many, but there's laser engraving. There's all these type of things. He goes, you can't reinvent the wheel. Like
Hmm.
nowadays, you can't find this new crazy thing. You just have to put yourself as I'm good at this. My quality speaks for itself. I have a work ethic, and it's a slow growth,
Yeah.
which is so hard to stick with. That applies to podcast, music, a lot of these hobbies that turn into something bigger.
Hmm.
Consistency is the key, and it's so damn hard when you have other responsibilities.
It is, I'm a full-time student. I work a day job. I have a family. And the responsibilities of running a small business, it's hard, uh, coming up with the time. I mean, you make time,
Oh
you don't
yes,
have the time. You just have to make it. And, I mean, what makes it easier is just kind of remembering, why did it, I know I joke and I say, I made a decent amount of money in the beginning, but Like the whole purpose was growing up. Like I said, I was pretty impoverished and we were poor, but like I really wanted to give good gifts as a kid. You know, I started out as like me making every single card for people and like finding the person that had a cardstock printer so that I could make my own designs on that. And then I got a soldering iron basically, and I was doing wood burn signs.
Oh, nice.
So kind of laser engraving was
Yeah,
also
it was there.
motorized version now. We grew.
Yes.
We've adapted. I really just wanted to kind of give someone something cool that they could bring home that no one else really had. You know, looking on Facebook, I didn't really see like in the marketplace. I love marketplace. You don't see someone, putting their grandmother's recipe on a cutting board. You don't see someone who just lost a family member with like, coming home with this really nice tree ornament that has like a halo and wings on it that lights up and says the person's name. I mean, those are the kind of things like I wanted to make memories,
Yeah.
not just gifts.
My my wife, me and her, we've done over the years personalized gifts. She got me an engraved wallet, an engraved flask, a lot of engraved stuff, a knife, and then I got her a sound box and some other stuff. I always remember the stuff she gave me. I can't remember, but either way, those mean so much
Hmm.
when they have something special, especially not just something like, I love you on it. No, it's like my wallet. It's a picture of me and her on a date from like our first year, and it has the vows on the inside.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is that exact thing. It's that deep, meaningful gift that can't be mass produced anywhere. It's
Yeah,
so
no.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I try whenever, I really try to market the whole personalized aspect of it. Um, it didn't start out, I do a lot of like hats and tumblers now. Um, but I started out doing, smaller form factor, ornaments, cutting boards, wooden signs, placards, things like that. And that was a really difficult thing to try to put out there because the amount of customization, like it's limitless. It's really it's whatever your imagination wants. It's a really hard thing to capture.
Well, what you did for me, I think you're capturing it perfectly. You, without me even saying anything, you go, I made this, and you showed me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's perfect, and I didn't even know that was what I would have wanted, but I can never replace those type of things, that
Yeah.
so you have a knack for it, obviously, that and with hats and tumblers, sure, that's a mass produced thing sometimes to a point, or it's a little less intricate,
Mhm.
but it's still needed, and it's still a wholesome thing. When people get a hat that is engraved and stuff, or a tumbler, they find special meaning in it.
Yeah. Especially with the ability to like throw pretty much whatever you wanted on it. Like, I mean, it could be an inside joke and no one would know it that you're wearing it. I love those kind of things. Um, you know, the thing with your logo, I saw the logo and I was like, man, that makes me think of like American traditional tattoo style. Let me see. I've got this brand new material that I haven't used yet because I couldn't come up with an idea. But when I think of American traditional, it kind of makes me think of like old school Western. And then when I thought of Western, I thought of cowboys and Indians. And then I thought of turquoise. It was a whole plot. You know, it was a lot of fun getting to make this brushed copper,
I love it.
turquoise and black.
Love it. Ah, it'll be a pickup. It'll be a pickup when the episode drops. I'm sure. It is.
Yeah.
It is so dang cool, and um, the fact that you did that is a true. It's a personal tone for me, but it's a testament of your craftsmanship for sure. So, where do you see this going? What do you want to do? What do you want to do with it? Are you aggressively pushing this thing, or are you kind of letting it free flow?
I would say a mixture of the two. Um, I'm really hard on myself over it. Kind of like what you said, it is a little flooded, this type of market, doing these kind of things. So being unique and doing these kind of things is really amazing for me because it lets me showcase, the craftsmanship. It lets me showcase a lot of things. And I actually just got a new machine that I'm waiting on coming in that's going to kind of expand a lot more. I'll be able to do like full color patches on hats. I'll be able to do full color tumblers. Pretty much anything that can be personalized, I can throw color on it now and make it look really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, as long as you're working on that growth, brother, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be successful. As long as you keep pushing for that, you're gonna do successful.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do. Eventually I want to grow into a little bit more apparel before I go into a different direction. I just don't know. Like I know I want to add t-shirts to my portfolio and being able to do custom sweatshirts and whatnot. Doing a hat shirt combo would be a huge thing for me.
yeah,
And then eventually, who knows? I don't know what I would open up next, but I know it would be a lateral movement in a different market somewhere. I just don't know which one yet.
man. I love hearing where you're going, Alex. Like from where you came, you had a successful military career, and now you're working on this successful like side business that's growing into something bigger. So I love hearing that from you, and I'm so glad we got to talk about all this stuff, like where you're from and where it came from, because it shows like I love hearing about people that anyone that came from harder time or a rough place and they're able to make something of themselves, because that's what life is about, is like getting through the bullshit and finding that other side, and that's what you're doing, man. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, if you just heard your story, like that is sick. Like you came from that to this, dude. That's
So many
great.
people they don't end up on a platform like this to be able to share it, and I think that those kind of stories are really important because they're just, people are people and you don't really know kind of like what they've had to go through to get to where they are now. So it's eye opening. It adds perspective and I hope that my stories of hardship and things that I've went through kind of help temper other people's hardships. Like maybe my situation isn't so bad or, add some kind of perspective.
Everybody's got a story. That's like my favorite expression. Everybody's got a story. I love it. Alex, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for telling us everything, man. I,
Yeah,
I
no.
will tell people, I'll have the links, but describe where we can find your stuff at. Where do you want us to look you up at?
Yeah, no. So all of my content is available at like, my Instagram is probably my most heavily content thing, at Grundaddy Customs. But I also have an official website, grundaddycustoms.com. You can throw uh personal requests in there and see some general merch that I've made for people. I've also got that hat listed that I made for you as an option if people wanted to pick that up, or the tumbler. Um, so
Yeah.
grundaddycustoms.com and at Grundaddy Customs on all social media platforms.
Yeah, and I'll have the links down in the description below. Please check this stuff out. It's awesome. I don't care if you buy my hat, like that's cool, but get yourself something from 'em. Like get something special for that special someone, your work, whatever. Alex, thank you for coming on here so much.
And thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.